When I tell you we've been weeks ahead of mainstream coverage, I mean it. The same headlines they're running right now today, we covered them when they were just filings and whispers. I'm talking about the Canary Capital ETF, the Franklin Templeton ETF, and the $4 billion of acquisitions Ripple's been doing this year and what it means going forward. I'm going to let you know what that means for us right now and the next step. Let's hop into it. Good morning, XRP Army. Welcome back to the channel. And as always, if it's your first time, kick back, relax, enjoy yourself. I'm going to ask nothing of you, but if it's your second time, you know it's time for payment. I need you to hit subscribe, smash the like button, and leave a comment. Let me know you are here. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. And without further ado, we will hop into the chart. All right, everyone. So what is the chart telling us today? It is telling us we pulled back from 248. 248 is still going to be king, and I'm going to give you some context, okay? So with everyone reporting on this now, usually when mainstream media starts reporting on this stuff is usually when the price starts to fall back, but there's more to it than just that, and we're going to cover all that. So we have a pullback yesterday. This was mainly due to the tariffs and Supreme Court thing going on with Trump. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, there's Supreme Court's iffy if they're going to make Trump repay all the tariffs. Trump's saying that's going to be absolutely killer for our economy in a bad way. And some people are reporting that it's not a big deal, but that's what this was from. This was from macro tariff stuff, nothing to do with XRP utility. This was macro wide. But as you can see, when we opened today, we had a nice pull off. We're back down to 240. 240 is going to be our first line of resistance. We need to stay above this. If 240 caves, next line is going to be 238, then 236, then 234, all the way down to 230, 228. If we get below that, we could open ourselves up all the way to $2. Again, 248 is king. We need to flip it with momentum and carry up to 270. 270 will be our next level of resistance. Again, there is no breakout until we push through 270 with volume. That is going to open the door for us to push up beyond $3 to possible new highs, but nothing is going to happen until that. And now that we've discussed the chart and what it means, I want to get into the context. I have two separate reports here, both discussing the ETFs going live tomorrow. Or the first ETF going live tomorrow, excuse me, specifically referring to Canary Capital. We were discussing that earlier this week. We also have Franklin Templeton going live. I don't have it up here, but the DTCC has listed like 5 or 6 different ETFs on as far as their tickers. That does not mean they are approved yet. It just means they're gearing up. So it is coming. We're going to have a slew of ETFs coming. I think there's like 5 or 6 tickers already listed. So it is coming. First one's going live tomorrow. I have been discussing and talking about a pullback, okay? And with this and this is where I'm getting this. When mainstream media starts reporting on this stuff, for some reason, I don't know why, but it always tends to go the opposite direction of what they say it's going to do because they're typically late. By the time they report this news, it's already been factored in, and then we have a sell the news event. So that being said, I do believe we are going to see a pullback when this ETF goes live tomorrow. We're already seeing a slight pullback right now. I'm not 100% sure if that is tied to it or not, but we're having a lot of buildup going into these ETFs, and they're not live yet. This could be futures related. This could be, all leverage related. This could be anything. We don't know. It's not spot. I can tell you that. This was not gained by people coming in and buying the asset. So again, I think we're going to have a sell the news event, a little bit of liquidity event tomorrow. I do expect a pullback, but then after that, we should see, without any macroeconomic pressure, we should see a climb from that point. Unless there's some bad macroeconomic news, we can't control that. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and hop into Trump. So this was discussing the tariffs. So basically, Trump is saying that if we have to repay the tariffs, it's $3 trillion. It might not be recoverable for our U.S. economy. And then this is what other people are saying. This is American importers say that if the Supreme Court rules that the money they paid for President Donald Trump's tariffs must be refunded to them, it would be relatively simple. It would be relatively simple to do and not the mess that some have claimed. And I'll save you guys a little bit. I did read this article. It's very dry. It's very boring. I scrolled down. Basically, what it comes down to, it was this very bottom part. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. If this happens, clawing back a tariffs could be more time consuming and difficult for the U.S. business because of paperwork. That was like this. Here it is. While the paperwork on the line item basis, some of these shipments have thousands of products that are intermingled, and some were subject to IEEPA and some were not. So basically, the reason this is going to be a big pain in the neck for our country if we have to repay everything back is to go through all the paperwork with customs. And they're saying it could take years to sort all that out. So we'll see what comes of that. Trump's saying it's going to be detrimental to our country. You know, so some people are saying that it's not a big deal. It's just going to take a long time because all the paperwork. Who knows? But really, this is macroeconomic pressure that is adjusting our price. It has nothing to do with XRP. This was the U.S. Senate bill could officially classify XRP as a commodity under CFT oversight. I will give you context. This is not just XRP. This is a lot of different cryptocurrencies. So basically, they're trying to classify most. They're trying to classify most of these as commodities, so therefore they could be moved under the CFTC oversight versus the SEC. This is just, again, this is clarity. This is legal clarity. This is important. We need clarity. The more clarity we get, the better it will be for adoption. So Senate's taking a step on top of the Clarity Act that we have. This is good. It is moving forward. They're expecting this. You can take a look, listen. I'll make sure to put all the links in the description for you. You can take a look, listen. This is very dry. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. But basically, this is the beginning steps of the next step. I guess this is the middle steps. There you go. This is the middle steps of clarity and the Clarity Act. So this is good news. This means things are moving in the right direction. But now I want to get to something we've been talking about for a while. And I saw this on CNBC and Yahoo Finance, and I thought it was kind of funny. Ripple Labs is conquering crypto. Now the XRP-linked firm wants to take on traditional finance. Ripple Labs has become one of the world's largest cryptocurrency companies, but executives aren't stopping there. CEO Brad Garlinghouse told CNBC over the past year the firm has ramped up efforts to bridge the Web3 world and an industry that has been viewed as its foil, traditional finance. In an interview with CNBC's Crypto World at the Ripple Swell 2025 conference in New York, Garlinghouse said his firm aims to offer a wide range of traditional financial services built on blockchain infrastructure, capitalizing on growing institutional adoption of digital assets. A blockchain is, okay, we don't need to know what a blockchain is. Here's what he said. I want to see Ripple invest in the future and get ahead of where the market's going, Garlinghouse said on Tuesday. The assets we have been buying have been on the traditional finance side, so we can bring crypto-enabled solutions to that traditional financial world. So again, CNBC is talking about the picture we have been painting for about a year, as they've been acquiring every single thing and how it plugs in to their financial infrastructure. CNBC is basically reporting that they've got the infrastructure now. What's next? And same thing with Yahoo Finance, talking about Ripple's $4 billion push into Wall Street and how Brad Garlinghouse wants to rebuild finance. The same exact thing was repeated across 4 different articles. I'm not going to show you, but this is what not just myself, and I'm not going to take full credit, but many YouTubers have been reporting on for months. And finally, mainstream media is catching up to that. I'm going to get into what that means. This is more than just a victory lap, okay? This does have meaning. I'm going to move into the next thing, okay? This is the crypto basic. I want you to think about this. Expert says telling XRP won't hit 100 this year feels like telling kids Santa isn't real. You can't see it right here, but who do you think said this? Do you think it's some major person? Do you think it's some, major market maker? No, they are reporting on what YouTubers are saying. That is something that Zach Rector said. Again, someone I watch, very good YouTuber, very good information, but mainstream media is now reporting on what YouTubers are doing. And not just that. So Zach Rector made a post on X, and he was talking about how telling XRP holders that we're not going to hit $100 this year is like telling kids Santa isn't real. And then, of course, they made a whole article pulling in what other YouTubers were saying and how the price has been reacting. They're basically writing articles on what our space is reporting, which I think is quite funny. What does this mean? Usually when they're reporting on what we're doing, when they're catching up on what YouTube influencers are doing, not just myself, but when they catch up on what YouTube influencers are doing, usually the price is going to go down because it's already baked in. So we're getting all this information that typically sparks a liquidity, and we're getting all this positive information in the last 2 days. And look, our price is going down. If you've been following XRP for any amount of time, this always happens. Literally, it's always a sell the news event with XRP because people are so behind, it seems like. But all that being said, let me get out of here. All of that being said, this is all great news. This is all fantastic news. We have adoption. We have mainstream media finally catching on. Who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe this is telling the world, hey, it's time to get in, and people do. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to see a pullback. I want to see it skyrocket. But I do think we're gonna have a little bit more of a pullback this week, and I think we're gonna start seeing the appreciation of the price really start to take off once all these ETFs are in flow. I'm expecting probably a huge tick up at the end of November, moving into December, and that's when we get to see the fun and the fireworks explode. My opinion, not financial advice. That's everything I have for you guys. If you made it to the end of the video, as always, be sure to comment Christmas because I think it's going to be a fantastic Christmas for all of us. As always, if you made it to the end, be sure to hit subscribe. Smash the like button, leave a comment. I appreciate every single one of you. Be sure to do it so you don't miss tomorrow's video. We are going to cover exactly what happens when these ETFs go live. I'll be here first thing in the morning, and we will see what the market does. Again, I'll see you on the next video. Later.